places. Before we get started, hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Ding! Thank you for watching. Keep yelling. Oh! Okay, I'm going back.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction, Miraculous Girl, and thank you everyone for joining us again on Exploring It All. So today we're going to be looking at a Kickstarter item from Outdoor Element. I have opened the package here, and there's a couple of items in here, but this is everything that came in here. We're going to dump this out. Like I said, this was a Kickstarter deal, and they deliberately sent some fire starter and then a little special gift of some fire tinder. I guess they sent out either tabs or the strips here of some waxed paper, and we're going to utilize that, save that tinder for the fireplace. And this is called the Flicker Feather. Now they had a combination. There was two different options, actually more than two, three different options on this. You can order this one. I forget the name of the other model that they had. It was very similar to the contour feather that came out before. So, which I have right here. But the other one was very similar. So anyway, guys, so let's take a look at this particular knife. So this is the way it comes. Oh, look, I got a little sticker. You guys can see this little fire thing with the E in the middle, the O and the E, their logo. And you got little instruction deal in here. So we'll set that aside. We'll set this aside. And it is twist tied on here. Little clip is tight. There we go. All right. So it's pretty tight in here. One thing they did show, and I watched the video, I scanned the QR and watched the video, is not to open it like this, but to use your thumb to push this off. Let's see if I can do it. My thumb may not be strong enough to do that. At least that one. Wow, that's in there tight. There we go. Might have to work that a little bit. So there's a look at our little blade. Now, they have the dimensions on here. The overall blade length is 2.38 inches. The knife is 6.33 inches. In the sheath, it's 7.06 inches, and it weighs 4.2 ounces with the sheath. The handle thickness is 1/2 inch, and the blade thickness is 0.113 inches. So that's that. Now we have a little 115 decibel whistle right here. And it is loud. You have a ferro rod right here. This is a hexagonal style ferro rod. And you can move that around. And this is kind of interesting. They did something a little different this time. And I'm not sure which way's better, because the previous version, you had the whistle embedded right into the back here. And it's pretty loud too. And on the previous one, the hex was part of the blade, whereas this one, it is on the end here. All right, so one of the things I was going to point out here, and I'm doing a little re-edit, is on the original one, you had your hex hole for your ferro rod in the edge of the blade here. And because this is a longer, this edition is longer, your ferrule rod is also longer. On this one, the hex is at the end of the knife down here to fit in there to loosen that up. And you can probably use this for those any 1/4 inch hex bits. Take that off. And then you have jimping up here on the top of the spine, right up in here. It fits, even though my hands, I have kind of long skinny fingers, my hands fit on this pretty good, even though it's not overly big. That handle is very thin and small and petite. You know, you're not going to want to baton really big wood, although the VG10 steel is probably very strong as far as that. As I mentioned, the Rockwell hardness is pretty hard. So, and that's a nice look. Now, I do have to say, I miss you had those liners in there, those orange liners in there. This one's a little bit thicker. These liners is, whereas this one's all one solid color. So there's that. And then you can switch this ferrule rod around to give yourself a little bit more room. And then use this end piece here to tighten that down a little bit so it doesn't spin on you. So there's that. Now I picked this chisel point style blade because for the most part I don't have a lot of chisel point style blades that I know of. I may have one. I have some that have come on Swiss Army knives. The Victorinox Swiss Army knife here. And if you sharpen these pry bars from Ontario Knife Company, they would be very similar, although much bigger, as that. I thought Leatherman had a chisel point blade, and they have some that are really close, but they're not sharpened. So there's that. One thing about a chisel blade, they say there's a couple of things about it. That the blade is actually supposed to be stronger, and they say easier to sharpen because you're only sharpening one side. You may strop a little bit on the other side just to get burrs off, but you really only are supposed to have to sharpen the one side. It's just a straight, goes down to it. That edge design, I looked it up. It said it's primarily for food prep and woodworking. They say a lot of Japanese style knives have that chisel point blade on it. And it's a Rockwell hardness of 5760 VG10 steel. So has a nice little feel to it. I like the gray. Your sheath, you have your hex, and you also have a little sharpening, diamond sharpening pad here. This feels a little coarse, so you're only going to have one coarseness of being able to sharpen. If you're using this, you need to touch it up or whatever when you're outside. Handle, you want to be able to handle it out there, and use the edge of this to strike it. And I'm going to scrape some of this off, and we'll give it some strikes. Watch out not to strike the tinder. Ooh, that's a nice spark right there. Fire, might as well, right? Cut off a piece of that. See if we can get this started. And I didn't cut off very much, as you can see. Got to bring out the pyromaniac in all of us here. And I'm using the back of this. I am not using the blade, just for those of you if you don't know. So fire, cool. Now I gotta loosen this back up. So put it back on there. Now, the other thing is, An outdoor element, they're known for the fire starter thing, so that's why I wanted to lead into that. But let's just check out the edge of this blade. Let's cut a couple of things. First thing to cut here, let's slice some paper. Might need to strop it a little bit. Wonder how the front point does. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, it's all right on the paper. Let's try it on. Let's try it on some paracord here. Kind of doing a little push-through slice here. That's pretty good. Let's do it on the front. Try that again, because I think I slipped. This is kind of a real pushing in through it. And then we're just going to do a straight pull through here. It's actually very sharp on the paracord. And then I have one other test. We're going to be having some stew tonight for dinner. And so they say this is for food prep. I thought, hey, let's slice some meat with it and see what it does with that. So I did go wash this and my hands. Just wanted to see how this would slice through the meat. And I'm going to say, as I take that point onto the board here, it's cutting the wood here. But this is some stew beef. We're going to have some beans and rice and meat all mixed together tonight. So, no problems cutting through this meat. So there you go. Did that okay. But anyway, I wanted to say, since they did say that this chisel point is supposed to be for woodworking, and working with wood, so to speak, thought we would also give it a try on cutting through some wood. And this is just some firewood. I'm not sure the type of wood. Doesn't really say on the box. It says hot wood. But seems to cut just fine. Can really dig into that. So, make some feather sticks to start some fires with. So the blade edge is good. So once again, that's a look at the new outdoor element flicker feather. I think it's a cool little blade for some little outdoor type camping. It will make a nice little neck knife. I've moved because I was using the hex here, I've moved my whistle down there to the bottom, but so you have a signaling ability with your whistle. Has a nice clip on there. You can do some touch-up sharpening on it. You can start a fire with it. You can carve up your food and your wood. I just think it's a nifty little neck knife type of outdoor knife. And the ferrule rod is the new hexagon style, which a lot of people are finding is easier to strike than the round ones. I've never really had an issue, but these hexagon ones do really throw out a nice spark. Attaches in there, so you got a little tool in there. So you got your sharpener and your signaling. I like it. It cut the wood good. It cut the paracord good. Yeah, didn't cut paper as easily as some of your finer EDC edge knives. But I have to say, I really like this. I thought it was I think it's a nice little knife. I want to say this was about $25 for me on the Kickstarter, but I might have got a discount. I don't know. I know that when you sign up, you get a 15% off coupon, so you can get 15% off whatever their price is, whatever the list price is on it. So, well, guys, thanks for joining us again and watching this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the views. We really appreciate it. We have a lot of fun doing this and interacting with everybody. So that's a look at the Flicker Feather from Outdoor Element. All right, guys, remember to hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and be nice to each other.